Welcome back, everybody. It's episode 2, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. And this is a spoiler episode, or review anyway. Brand new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 70,000 by the end of the year. Try to get this thing on tour. Big thing, Sith Council, stand-up comedy, the whole nine. So we hope you join us. Okay, I always, for people who are just finding the channel, people who have been with the channel know this already, but people who are finding the channel when it comes to Game of Thrones, I am not the avid book reader that's going to give you all the big lockdown and all the theories on what's right from the book and what's not. I'm a casual viewer, and I'm going to call it like I see it. Do I screw up names from time to time? More than time to time, to be honest with you. But I'm digging this show, man. Really enjoying the politics of it, the way it's set up. Such great character work already in only 2 episodes of the show. Every single scene, I thought this was a better episode even the first, and I love the first episode. I think that what the first episode was there to do was to let everybody know, oh, this is a Game of Thrones show. You're going to see the stuff that you liked about Game of Thrones, the extreme violence, the sexiness, all that stuff. It was all going to be there, but we really want to dive into the core of what this is going to be in episode 2, and boy did they ever, because there was so much meat in this sandwich in this one, man. Because you start with, everybody is just crushing, and I said it in my immediate reaction yesterday that Matt Smith is kind of stealing the show, as we kind of thought he would, but everybody is phenomenal in this show, and I'll tell you right now, the standout last night to me was absolutely Millie Alcock, who plays the young Princess Rhaenyra, and so what she's dealing with and the scenes that she's got to go through, and like I said, every single scene, you can pick out a character from last night's episode, and you can go, oh, well, that's what happened with that character, and I remember that scene in particular. Sometimes you'll watch an episode and you're like, oh, what happened with that scene? You remember, like, if I think of like King Viserys, I think of all the stuff that he's going through with getting married again, and the stuff he's got, and the decision he has to make, and the idea not only the stuff he's got to deal with his brother, who's now taken over Dragonstone, but he's now got to deal with whether it's this invasion by Crabface McGillicuddy or all these other things that he's got to do, and now he's got to focus on, should he remarry again, and if so, should he unite the Targaryen households? So that's just one particular, that's just him. And then as I just mentioned with Millie Alcock, with what she's doing with Princess Rhaenyra, she's trying to prove herself. She's been named the heir, and now it's okay, so what should I do? Well, I got to step up. Here's what I'm going to do. She's still filling up cups for people. She's still doing that. They don't really take her that serious. And she's like, well, you should take me serious. How about this? And they're like, shush, shush, little one. And like, you know what you should do? You should go pick somebody from the King's Guard, because it's peaceful. Nobody's fighting anyway. So go pay whoever you want. Go have a blast. And it's the first time where she steps up and she goes, well, that's the dude that kicked Daemon's ass. And he's actually seen battle before. I want him. And like, no, you should actually do this. She's like, no, I think I'm going to take the one who's going to protect my dad. And it shows you right away, okay, she's making decisions, and she's got that flair. She got that fire. She can be the queen, but she's got a lot of hurdles. And then there's that amazing scene with her and the queen, or the I forget what it's called, the queen for a day, or not a queen. I can't remember what they call it, but anyway, part of the Targaryen household. And she, and there's a great scene with the two of them, and she's just tainted. The older would-be queen is tainted by the politics of it, and goes, nah, it's not changing. I'm already seeing what they're doing to you. Keep filling up their cups. Yeah, there's nothing. You're sure you got spunk now, kid, but wait until the mileage starts packing on. And Rhaenyra kind of fights back. She's like, nah, I didn't. Maybe that's for you, not for me. I'm going to make decisions. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to be the queen. And that was a powerful scene. Like each scene, like everything that was going on last night was just really incredible. And and the stuff going on with the king, and then you've got Alicent, who is Rhaenyra's best friend. And this storyline is pretty great too, because if you go back to last week, and it's weird when you look at obviously the age difference. She's like 15 or 16, and when you're looking at the times, and even, I mean, and we can even go more so into when they're trying to pair him up with a 12-year-old, and he's even saying, she's 12, guys. So, yeah, but when she's 14, and is it creepy? Of course. Yes, very. And they're all saying, nah, it's a good match. It's a good match. And just like the way, like, back in, the kings and queens from England and how everything was paired up and continuing the heir and making sure. And he has that great conversation, the king does, right, with his daughter in this one, which is another powerful scene. When she's like, I get it. I get what you got to do. He's like, you're my heir. You're going to be the one. But we got to protect ourselves because there's people coming from us on all sides to try to end this thing. She's like, I get it. Mom got it. I got it. Let's do it. And they even said it in the posting. She's like, yeah, but just the only thing is, just don't bang my best friend. Well, that went out the window because that's who he chose. But that relationship alone, which we know later on, Olivia Cooke is going to be playing the older Alicent. We know that relationship is going to start to get tainted because of this. But what's very interesting about it is in the last episode, she was sent in by her dad, Hightower, who's becoming to me a Littlefinger type character, but in a different way. But she's sent in by her dad, and he's like, yeah, go take care of the king. He knew what he was doing, by the way. He knew by sending her in there that eventually what happened, what eventually did happen was going to happen. So he plotted that out, right? But and it was creepy when you like, okay, go pleasure the king, and you're like, but that doesn't happen. That hasn't been happening. She's just there to kind of lend him support, and she legit cares about him, which is some of the stuff I'm really enjoying about it. Look, I love the original Game of Thrones series, and I liked how when you got into that world, remember, this is like 200 years prior. So, and it was in a time of peace. When we entered the Game of Thrones, from what we knew, the one that launched, whatever it was, 2009, 2010, I can't remember. But whenever it launched, it was in despair. And when Baratheon was running the joint and Robert Baratheon was running the place, it was in despair. And I mean, everybody was fighting and the walkers were, it was a mess. This isn't that. And it's like there's not a lot of that crookedness and stuff happening yet. It's starting to form, and there are little things. And obviously the politics are politics, no matter what it is. People are playing games to try to get into power. And that certainly is the case here. But I don't know, man, there was so much going on. And even like the matching of the houses and the understanding when the king is approached and said, look, the crab dude is taking over the peers. I've got to prove that my house can protect this thing, help us out. And they're like, nah, we ain't starting a war. Figure it out yourself. It's like, okay, well then how about this? How about you marry my daughter? And he's like, all right, let me consider it. And then he doesn't. So there's beef there, which ultimately leads to the whole conversation with I gotta get his name because he's really, really good. Where is he? Steve Toussaint, who plays Lord Corlys. And there's a great scene with Corlys and Daemon at the end because the scene, and everybody's going to be like, why aren't you talking about that scene? Because I'm holding it. And I know what scene you're talking about. My man, Daemon, Matt Smith is just, he's so good in this role. I mean, he's so good. In this scene, when Daemon's kind of pushing his limits, right? And Daemon's saying, yeah, I'm marrying my, I'm basically doing what we're allowed to do as Targaryens. I'm going to marry my mistress, or I'm taking a second wife. She's pregnant. And I stole a dragon egg, or not even steal it, it's mine by right. So come on to the wedding, bro. And they're like, no, man, you that's not how it works. You can't do that. And so there's this standoff between Daemon and Hightower that these dudes just hate each other. And it also shows that Hightower sometimes is making these moves like, no, don't worry about it. I got it. He's protecting the king and said, you can't go there. I got to go on the hand of the king. I got to do it, which it makes sense. And good on him that he went and did that. But not paying attention to the fact that Rhaenyra is the one who can go, hey, I can smooth this over. And this scene showed so much. It showed so much. First of all, we talked about that already. This whole scene, when Daemon doesn't give a shit about Hightower, he'd chop his head off in a second and he'll go to war in a moment. But when it came down to his niece coming on and saying, look, man, this isn't about anything except that you're pissed off at my dad. I am too. But you're pissed off because you were the heir and he made me the heir and you're mad. So if you want to do this, take me out. And then you can go right back to being the heir. Go ahead, have a blast. And he can't do it. And this is why I love this character so much, because it's not just this maniacal character that we've seen so many times over, and I'm sure we'll get more of them in Game of Thrones, because you're always going to get the maniacal characters that pop up here and there, and you should. But I liked that we didn't get, this isn't like, oh, we're just trying to put in like another Cersei right now. We're trying to put in, another, was a crazy bastard who was cutting people's nuts off and stuff. I whatever. But like there's tons of characters like that, and I love that Daemon can be vicious, and Daemon can be like really violent, and he was prepared to be, but not with his family. He's got rules, and that scene so much, and it also showed what Rhaenyra is going to do and what she's able to do. Again, showing that leadership is proving her worthiness as the heir, and saying, you guys aren't gonna be able to get this egg back. I can do it, and she does. So there was just so much going on and so many layers to this episode, because you get. And then there is that. Where's the other? There should be another one in here too. I'm sure I have it somewhere, but let's see. Yeah, this, and then and then there's again with Daemon. There's this scene with Daemon where he's talking to her. She's like, "Are you telling people that I'm pregnant? They're gonna protect you, but they're gonna kill me." He's like, don't worry about it. You'll be all right. And so there's all this stuff that's going on in this episode with the politics and the back and forth, and I don't have I thought I had Crabby in there. But the crab stuff is as we are now getting into that final scene at the end there. And again, going back to the family thing. When Corlys and Daemon are talking, and Corlys is kind of wooing Daemon to kind of do his dirty work for him and say, look, if I do this, I'm going to be in the shits. But if you do it, you get away with anything anyway. You do it. Go and take this guy out and prove what you're going to do. And I loved this scene so much because Daemon then says, yeah, my brother, that's not his strong suit. And he's like, what? He's like, being a king. Takes a shot at him. And then Corlys takes a shot at him. He's like, no, I can do that. You can't. Saying like, that's my brother. He's the king. Shut your fucking mouth. I was like, this dude is awesome. I can break the rules. I can do what I want. I'm part of that royal line. Stay in line, buddy. And they have, but that dynamic is there, and they're going to work together. So there's all these little pockets of things that are happening, and then obviously the rift that's now going to happen between both Rhaenyra and Rhaenyra. I keep saying Rhaenyra, and thank God he corrected it. It was driving me nuts. See, I told you I'm going to mess that up. And Allison, that's going to be there. That's setting it up. I mean, there's just so much. There's so much, and this episode was like what, 50 minutes, and look what we covered just in like that span of time. I felt like every time I was watching them, I remember like as I was watching it last night, I'm like, every one of these scenes is memorable and seems to be playing into what's going down. This is a great episode. It really is a great episode of television. But anyway, that's the spoiler review. I'm really digging what's going on so far in this show. I'm very invested. I'm glad to be invested back in Westeros in the way that I am. I also to be cards on the table, I'm one of the few people that enjoyed the last season of Game of Thrones. Do I think it was as good as the original 3 or 4 seasons? No, not even close. This is way closer to those, and I feel like the writing and the connection of all of it. I think the last season of Game of Thrones was more like a popcorn version of Game of Thrones, which some people hated, and I understand that. I didn't mind it, but I get the criticisms. This is not that. This is detailed, layered Game of Thrones, and I'm all for it. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. So go ahead and do me a favor and subscribe. Absolutely, definitely do that. If you haven't done that already, you should definitely do that. But I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead and let me know what you think about the. Oh, come on, what are we doing here? What do you think about the show? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Things you're digging? What's your favorite? Who's your favorite character right now? And what's your favorite storyline? I want to know about that. And even and by the way, even when what's Christos? Is that the guy's name? I can't remember, the one that she appointed as the new King's Guard or whatever. When him and Daemon have this riff, and Daemon kind of respects the little dig that he took at him. Again, great scene. Anyway, go ahead and give me your thoughts. I want to know your favorite moments. Comment. Need some. Make sure if you're liking this video and you're commenting, it absolutely helps. It helps the channel. It helps people notice. This is tons of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon reviews out there. I'm hoping you're enjoying mine and the discussion that we can have together. I try to answer back as many comments as I can. So, all right, once again, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace.